everybody. We are not at the cabin. We're actually at my home right now. I need to make some window frames, so I'm going to go through the process and show you what I'm going to do. From what I've seen online, it shouldn't be a terribly difficult process. I've seen a good process using pocket holes and some biscuits, and you glue them together. They're pre-assembled. Hopefully I did my measurements right. We'll find out on this weekend when we go to install them. And yeah, so I'll give you a quick tour of my garage. This table is a mobile table, so I can move around. It's on some casters and whatnot. I have most of my tools still in my truck because I just carry them back and forth. Normally, this is my shop that I have set up. Or as you can see right now, we got a bunch of siding yesterday, and it's very full, so I've had to move stuff around. Normally, I have my miter saw here, and then with, you know, it's level with the table so I can cut stuff, but we're gonna have to work with just having it on there. I'm hoping these garbage cans will help support the ends because these are 16-foot pieces, but we'll figure it out. It's my table saw. I've had this for several years now. It's very handy. I have the portable one up at the cabin, so this one just stays here, obviously. And then, yeah, the rest of it's just storage. I have a vacuum system. It kind of works, kind of doesn't work. It works okay. It's better than nothing, I suppose. So, but yeah, this is my setup that I normally have here in the garage for all the projects that I do. And now, given that I'm at the cabin, most of my projects are up there, but you'll probably see some of this later on in videos when I have to build some cabinets and some other things for the cabin. But right now, given it's all exterior stuff, you don't see much of this at the moment. So we'll get going on cutting some windows. All right, so I made a cut list, and this is kind of a very generic drawing that shows what I'm going to be doing. The little indicators here for pocket screws. It shows which ones I need pocket screws in and whatnot. And then I have each side here. I'd add the dimensions. I had to add 3/8 to the top for the spacing for the flashing. And then there's supposed to be a 3/16 gap around each side. And that's so you can fit caulk in and that. And this is the specs according to LP SmartSide. So that's what we're gonna be going off of. And we just need to cut a whole bunch of pieces and get them ready for assembly. All right, we got everything set up. Gone through. I've marked where I'm gonna do the sides where I need to do the pocket holes. In the process of changing the bit, I managed to take a nice chunk of my knuckle out, so that was a lot of fun. So we're ready to go. All right, so here's a quick mock-up of what it'll look like. These aren't attached, they're just sitting there so I can see what they're gonna look like when they're assembled. So we'll come back once we get them all assembled. All right, we got all the biscuit joints cut. We are now gonna throw some Type Bond 3 on here. So I have this upside down purely because this is the flat surface. You want the front side to be flat. It doesn't matter if there's a little lip here. So the flat surface, when you clamp this down, oops, get it adjusted here. There we go. And then the screws, I don't have any shorter screws. I would have liked to have 2-inch screws, but I only got 2.5, so I had to actually make the pockets a little bit further back, but they should work fine. All right, there we go. We got a nice window frame all ready to go. Should hopefully, if I measured right, should just hang right where it needs to go and I nail it in. I'll have to do some touch-up paint. I gotta paint the ends where I cut and then where the glue is too, but I need to let the glue dry, so we'll let that dry overnight. I got the other two frames to assemble. It's essentially the same process. I screwed up for the sides. I need to add 3.5 for the bottom, because right now this is supposed to be the inside of this from here over to here. It's supposed to be 36 and 3/16. And when you measure it, the 36 and 3/16, it's like 36 1/4, so it's off by a 16th, but that's fine. It's to the outside, so I need to add, I forgot to add the 3.5 for this. So I have to cut 2 new sides, which I guess that's the way it goes, but that's how you learn. So if anybody caught that earlier, obviously ran into it now. I have not glued these. I was just getting them ready. And I thought, well, let's just measure it just to check. So now I'm gonna cut 2 new sides. One other thing I was gonna mention is I actually had AI check my calculations for the measurements. And they said, yes, you're 100% correct. So don't trust AI. I actually had, initially when I was doing this initial measurements and everything, it gave me completely wrong measurements. And then I had to check again. It said, oh yeah, you're correct. So I don't know. It is what it is. That's part of woodworking. You make mistakes. I figured it out at least before I glued it. So only 2 pieces on each window. It's not a huge deal, but it's just a little frustrating. That's all. Good morning. It's Saturday morning. Just got to the cabin. It's really early. It's about 7 in the morning. I left about 6 or so. The main reason being is I have all of this. I have the hitch extension on. It looks a little, my front end is higher up because of the slope, but so it's not normally that tilted, but it is a lot of weight. So this is about half the siding. The other half is at home, and I left the battens and the trim pieces at home because I didn't need them today. But project for today is getting this unloaded. I brought these pallets up simply because I need something to keep it off the ground, and I'll have it under a tarp and whatnot. But hopefully we'll do some trim on the windows, and that should go pretty quick, assuming if I measured it correctly. And then do some flashing for those, and then we'll maybe get siding started. It is supposed to be very hot today, so we'll see how long we go into the day, because the sun beats down on that side quite a bit until about 2 p.m. or so. We will be staying overnight tonight, so I might do some work in the evening when it's a little bit cooler. But yeah, that's the plan for today. We'll get started. All right, so this week we had a text from a neighbor up here at the cabin. Apparently a bear got into one of the other cabins, and also opened the car door of the neighbor. He didn't do anything to the neighbor's car, but in the cabin they pulled out garbage and whatnot. But anyways, we got here, and these holes, I don't know if they're from a bear, but they were not there last week. And there's no sticks or anything. There is a tall pine tree up here, but there is no sticks. And it's a grill, so obviously it would smell like grease and whatnot. But so who knows? I don't know. Do you think it was a bear, or do you think it's just coincidence of something else? All right, we got the window trims in. They fit pretty good. The small one was a little tight, but it works out all right. The other ones are actually a little bit, just a hair, maybe an 1/8 or a 1/16. Probably too big, but I'll be able to caulk it. But I'll show you here. Okay, so this is the kitchen window down here. It's maybe a quarter, might be, I don't know. I did not measure it. It's supposed to be 3/16. It's pretty close. So the shadow line for that's getting in the way there. And also I forgot my selfie stick tripod thing. So, and this is good up here. There's a 3/8 inch gap up there. There's plenty there. And then over here is a little bit larger. I think it's about a quarter. So I'll fill that in and with a big bead of caulk. It should be all right. But yeah, now I gotta do some flashing. We're up above these windows, well, this window and then the other two as well. So we'll do that now. Good morning. It's Sunday morning. Sorry, I did not record much video yesterday, just a little bit. The window trim did get on. I'll show you some of that here. So we got the trim on, got the flashing on. A couple minor hiccups, nothing major. I ran out of caulk. I ran out of black caulk. I only bought one tube. And the top two windows are done, but I still have to caulk the two sides on the bottom ones here, or the bottom window here. And then the other aspect is, probably can't see it, definitely not from this angle. Let's go back over here. If we zoom in, up there, the soffit and the trim hit. So I had to notch a corner off of the top trim way up there, and got that situated, figured out, and everything's in, the flashing's in. Otherwise, we're ready to go. I've been spending the last, I don't know, hour or so kind of getting prepped for starting to cut trim and whatnot. My little janky canopy that is busted. Apparently, one of the arms busted, I think last time. It had been bent before, so I'm not surprised, but it should provide shade. It's supposed to be really hot today. It's already like 75 or something like that right now, and it's 9 a.m.-ish. So we'll see how far or how long I go today, but I figure with the shade, hopefully it will help. And yeah, we'll get started on doing some trim, or not trim, sorry, doing some siding. Alright, it's been slow going here. I did an outfit change because it was just too warm. So the boards that I got, they did not paint the sides of these, so I painted these first two. I don't know, they're going to be underneath the battens, so I'm just being a little maybe picky, I guess. But you can see here, they clearly weren't painted, so that slows it down. I have to paint each end, and or where you cut anyways, exposed. So I did that, and then the nail gun, I just bought this nail gun. It's a Paslode, what is it, CE2004 or something like that. I've never used it before, so this is probably a learning curve issue, but the nails aren't going in. This one I think I hit a nail, but I need to adjust the nails so they go in, and then they're blank firing a ton. Like, I get one nail and then I get 2 or 3 blank fires, and then it jams. so far in the first board, I've spent probably 20 minutes trying to get this stupid thing in, but we'll get it figured out. All right, we have the first 2 pieces in. There's an 1/8 of an inch gap in here. It is slightly bigger at the top, a little bit, just because I don't know if the board is warped a little or not, but anyways, it's not a big deal. It's gonna be covered by a batten later on. So the nail gun is still misfiring. I have figured out if you pull the plastic piece just a little bit, it then fires. So after each shot, I have to pull the plastic. I don't know. Hopefully it'll figure itself out, but for now it's kind of pain in the butt, but it's at least firing nails. This next piece, I'm going to actually work on this piece here. I'm going to try to. Is really difficult. I have to go from down here all the way up there to the second floor window, and then I have to notch out, so I have to mark where this window is, cut in, I don't know what the distance is, I haven't measured it, cut in 10 inches or whatever, and basically cut a notch out of it, and see if I can get it to fit perfectly in there. I do have a little bit of wiggle room, simply because to some extent there's a 3/8 gap that's supposed to be at the top of the window where the flashing is, so I can adjust it up or down a little bit. It also comes behind this here, so I'm gonna have to detach that. That's fine. I have it set up so it's ready to detach, but it's gonna be a while before I get it all in, or at least get it cut and ready to go. So we'll start that process now. All right, we got the massive notch cut out here. This is only maybe 5 inches wide, so I do have to be careful that it doesn't bend and break. So it's painted, all the cut pieces were painted. We've got the electrical box pulled out, so it should be able to slide behind. I really need another person, ideally, to get it up and over and through there. But it's just me today, so wish me luck. See how it goes. Well, as you can see, the first attempt failed. Everything was really good for this here. However, I'm like 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little over. So I'm gonna cut maybe 3/16 off here from underneath it, because I couldn't get it under the pan there. Well, I could get it in, but then it was bowing, and I obviously don't want that. So I think the second attempt, otherwise my measurements are good for the notch, which is the important part. So I'm happy with that. Everything lined up good along the side and the bottom and the top. So yay me, did good measurements on that. All right, so we'll get this cut it off a little bit off the top and give it try number 2. We got it in. It's very nice. So this is, I don't have any nails in this yet. It's just purely, what I did up there up top is I just tacked it with some stainless steel brad nails, just to hold it so it's not flopping around up there. Hold it into the wall until I get the actual siding nails in. The gap here is perfect. Around the edge is perfect. I'm very happy with it. So now it's just a matter of getting the nail gun to actually cooperate and nail it off. So that's what I'm gonna do now. We'll come back once it's all nailed. All right, we got it all nailed off. Hard to see with the shadow there, but the nail gun still fire and blanks like every other one. If I pull the plastic tab, it does okay, but I don't always have the ability to do that if I'm hanging off of something and I only have one arm really. I gotta see if there's a setting or something. I hope it's not defective, because I don't want to do this whole stinking sheathing, pulling that stupid plastic through. But we'll see. So that one's in. I'm gonna do lunch now. It's hotter than crap out right now. And then I might just do this one single piece right here in between the windows. That's an easy, straight cut. And that will be it for today. It's just too hot. It's also very difficult trying to do this by myself. So yeah, we'll come back after lunch and try to get that second piece in between the windows there. And all right, we are calling it a day. I got the small piece, well, it's like 40-inch piece or whatever, in between the the two windows. You kind of can get an idea of what it'll look like. There's no battens on or anything, but at least you get a general sense of the color. It's a dark gray, clearly. It'll be a nice contrast against the cedar not board and batten, tongue and groove. I kept on saying board and batten for that, but so the nail gun, this Paslow nail gun, I don't know if I have a defective unit or what's going on. It's basically, it's not pulling this plastic piece through. I've looked at it, I've adjusted certain things in there that I can see, and so far I've gotten nowhere. Maybe I'm not, again, this is the first time I've used it, so I am going to play with it this week and see if I can figure out why it's not pulling it through. For this last piece I did, however, use my framing nailer. I had some leftover smaller ring shank galvanized, and that worked awesome. So I might just use that. This is all I have of these 2-inch that are in here. Pull those out. These work great. They're a thicker nail, so they don't have to be that thick for the siding and everything. But it went in, they went flush. No issues with the DeWalt jamming. I've owned DeWalt for years. I've had this nail gun for years, and I've been very happy with it. Like this whole sheathing, this whole wall, I think it jammed once. I know it jammed once. It might have jammed twice, the whole thing. And so far with this Paslow, it's just been a massive headache today. So I might just use the DeWalt and go with that and just cut my losses. But again, I'll see what happens this week. If I get time, maybe I'll call Paslow and ask them if what I'm doing wrong, because the nails just aren't feeding through. It's firing fine. It fires fine. It doesn't have any issues with that. And so we'll see. That's going to be it for this week's video. I got to clean up this mess. It's about 2 o'clock right now, and it's going to take me at least an hour and a half just to clean up and get stuff ready, loaded, and do all that. And by the time I head home, it'll be 5 p.m. So, but I should be up next week. Hopefully I can get past the windows here and the power pole, because once you get past that, it's just easy cuts. I mean, you just cut and go. It should be a simple process. Same for this side. This side's a little more complicated because I have this long, it's kind of similar to what I did today, where you had to notch out. So I have to notch out on this side. However, it's a full piece, like all the way up to the soffit. It's like close to 16 feet. So I'm hoping a full piece will fit in there. Oh, one other thing I was going to note. I've been spacing these 1/8 of an inch wide in between. This is per LP SmartSide. The other thing on LP SmartSide is they actually say don't use it across joists because of joist shrinkage. However, my joists are 60 years old. I think they're done shrinking. So I am ignoring that. I'm fully aware that that's not what you're supposed to do. So, but I didn't want to have a belly band in the middle. I'm not even sure where I'd put it. I mean, you could put it anywhere, but I wanted just the nice continuous board batten all the way down. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that. And yeah, otherwise, I'll be back at it next week. I'll see you then.